What did the grapes say when he got stepped on?
What?
Not much, he just let it out of a little wine. This is stupid.
Where did pigs chill out? Hammocks.
Huh?
Hammocks.
Hammocks?
Ham.
Hicks.
76ers fans, I'm sorry. It's been a rough decade or so for you, and out of pity, I'm not going to do what every other video, podcast, or article does and recount every gut-wrenching moment that has led us to where we are now. On the bright side though, now seems like a great place to be if you're a 76ers fan. Over the past few years, the organization has created a few teams with the intent of being a contender. The reason I'm mentioning this is because at one stage, that was the furthest thing from the front office's mind. Like I said, I'm not going to talk too much about previous iterations of this team, but this one feels different. They're playing like a team that got their season ended by a heartbreaking buzzer beater and then got swept in the first round in back-to-back seasons. That's mainly been because of their two stars, Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. Now, bear with me for a moment. Imagine a list of players you could pick from to start a franchise with. I think we can all agree that both Joel and Ben would be pretty high up on that list. But what if I told you that you could pick any two guys to start your franchise with? Well, I'd imagine the combination of Embiid and Simmons would be considerably lower. That's the thing with the 76ers. That's why almost every person was calling for them to trade one of them in the offseason. Sometimes I wonder if that Kawhi shot didn't go in and the 76ers ended up winning in overtime, and if they then beat an underperforming Bucks team and then met the injury-riddled Warriors in the finals, would these rumors even be a thing? If the 76ers ended up winning that championship, would that change the way we look at basketball, particularly the skill sets needed to be a star player and to win your team a championship? I don't know. I mean, it was probably for the better anyway. I don't think the city of Philadelphia could handle two of their sports teams winning a championship in the same decade. Now let's talk about the 2020 team versus the 2021 team, because this glow-up is right up there between Jonah Hill and Chris Pratt. Here's a list of the top 10 minute getters for the 76ers last season. Tobias Harris, Alfred Horford, Benjamin Simmons, Joshua Richardson, Furkan Korkmaz, Joel Embiid, Matisse Thybulle, Mike Scott, Shake Milton, and James Ennis. This year, they replaced Horford, Richardson, Scott, and Ennis with Curry. No, not that one. No, not that one either. Yeah, that's the one. Danny Green, Dwight Howard, and Tyrese Maxey. That's a combined 5.2% increase in three-point percentage. That seemed like the main objective for this revamped front office. I mean, that's what you'd expect when you hire Daryl Morey. Interestingly enough though, they're actually shooting fewer threes than last year. That's probably either the result of Joel Embiid commanding a bigger offensive load and therefore taking more shots but fewer threes, or the Daryl Morey three-point shooting narrative has been blown way out of proportion. I don't know. You tell me. Overall though, their defensive rating ranks 5th in the league, an improvement from 8th last season. However, their offensive rating ranking has slipped a little, going from 13th to 14th. The star player for the Sixers this season has been Joel Embiid, and at this point, he would be my pick for MVP. The big difference for Embiid this season has been his health. He's just been on the court more, and that's what everyone's always said. If Joel could just stay healthy, he could be an MVP candidate. And this season, he's been exactly that. He also admitted he had some extra motivation this season, after not making an All-NBA team last season. But for Joel, the goal has always been to win a championship, specifically for the city of Philadelphia. Listen to what Spike Eskin said on Zach Lowe's podcast about Joel Embiid after the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
I was in Minneapolis for the Super Bowl, and I saw Embiid before the game and immediately after the Eagles won. And I swear I saw something in his eye watching a Philadelphia team win a championship that I bet you if you asked him, did that stick with you? I bet it did. And if I could have any athlete win a championship for Philadelphia, I would feel the best about Joel, because Joel's been here since like the beginning, and he's gone. I mean, the guy missed 2 full seasons with broken feet. His brother died. He's been, there's the knee injury and the face injury, and there's just been so much. So for him to conquer it, I just feel like would be extra special, you know?
Exactly. And Joel has realized that if he wants to be the first big man to bring a championship to Philly since Moses did in 1983, he'll have to take his game to a new level. This season, Embiid's stats have been ridiculous. He's averaging 30.2 points on a ridiculous 64.6% true shooting. Embiid loves the post, averaging 9.2 post-up possessions per game, 3.2 more than Jokic in second. This chart shows how efficient these possessions are relative to other guys in the league. He's able to use his nifty feet along with his 127 kg body to hit defenders with a deep bag of tricks that ranges from spinning around guys to straight up bulldozing them. He's also added a face-up element to this as well, and this chart shows how well he's shooting from mid-range, which I've considered to be 10 to 14 feet. This development in his game has been huge for Philly, as it gives them an option down the stretch. It also makes him so much harder to defend. As a defender, you can't sag off him because he'll kill you in the mid-range, but if you choose to get close, he'll bully you or straight up blow by you. He's also willing to pump fake defenders into oblivion, and it's just a downright headache to defend. He's also a foul magnet, getting to the line a league-leading 11.6 times per game. And he's no Shaq when he gets there, as he shoots a pretty good 85.6% from the free throw line. This dominance in the post has resulted in him being double-teamed. A lot. His passing out the post has improved, but I think we sometimes overrate how good he is. This will be a big problem for Philly in the playoffs, when Embiid will be double-teamed on every trip down the court. On the defensive end, Embiid's impact is still immense. He's averaging 1.4 blocks per game, which only ranks him 20th in the league. What's interesting though is that his fouls are down, and I mean down. He's fouling 26% less this season than last season, which is a big encouragement for Philly, as it means he can stay on the floor for longer and therefore have a bigger impact. Philly's success this season will definitely be tied to Joel Embiid. But what about their second best player, Mike Scott? Just joking, it's Ben Simmons. When talking about Embiid, we started with his offense. With Simmons though, we have to start with that D. At the moment, I think he's my favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year. And trust me, I know Rudy Gobert exists. I also understand the greatness of Gobert. I mean, the guy makes players think twice about driving to the basket and strikes fear into anyone who attempts anything at the rim. Simmons, on the other hand, is more versatile and quite literally guards all 5 possessions to an elite level. He takes on the toughest perimeter assignment night in and night out and has performed manfully against the likes of Dame Lillard and Luka Doncic. Although my boy Devin Booker cooked him up though. Apart from that, there aren't many occasions where Simmons gets beaten that bad. He's so quick and light on his feet that he can keep up with quicker guards. And even if they do get by him, the job's not done, as Ben can use his 7-foot wingspan to recover and poke balls away or contest shots. Simmons averages 1.6 steals per game, which places him 13th in the league. He can also run with the bigger guys, using his body and length to cause them problems. Offensively, his passing ability immediately stands out. His ability to find shooters is exceptional, And now that Philly has guys that can actually hit threes consistently, his passing has become even more valuable. On the scoring front, he is slightly down from the last 2 years. As this chart shows, for guys who get as many touches as him, he ranks considerably lower in terms of points per touch. But what's most concerning about Ben's game is his shot distribution. He takes nearly 80% of his shots from within 5 feet of the basket, and just 1.5% of his shots come from outside 14 feet. This is partially due to increased spacing in this year's team, but it's also because of his limitations as a shooter. This shot profile does mean that he gets a lot of efficient shots though, resulting in his 52.8% effective field goal percentage. The stick that Simmons has constantly been beaten with is his impact in the last few minutes of a game. Yes, down the stretch, he's pretty bad, but let's not forget everything he does before that though. Tobias Harris has also had a much improved season, and looks a lot more like a reliable third option now. He even got some serious all-star buzz. This season, Harris has improved in points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, 3-point percentage, and true shooting percentage. He also now has a better understanding of his role, and credit has to go to Doc for making it clear to him exactly what the team needs from him. The supporting cast has also been good. Seth Curry's been good from 3, taking a decent amount, and his assists have gone up by nearly 50%. His ball handling has given Philly a couple different looks they can throw at teams. Danny Green's been alright from 3, but his defense just isn't the same anymore. It's between him, Shake, and Thibault for the last spot in the starting rotation at the moment. Korkmaz might have a little shout if he really gets hot at the right time. I think it will come down to the matchup though. Green is the best shooter, Thibault's the best defender, and Shake's the best ball handler. This makes them more versatile, which will be very useful in the playoffs. Dwight Howard has been alright as a backup big man, and Maxey's had his moments, but he's more of a developmental player at this time. The Sixers have also been linked to a trade for Kyle Lowry, should the Raptors decide to move on from the face of their franchise. This would be a game changer. The Sixers would get a steady ball handler who would get guys involved, provide some leadership and experience, and give them another option late in games. It might end up costing them Maxey, but I do think it gives them a considerably better chance of winning a title this year. Speaking of winning games, the Sixers have won the most clutch games. This means that when games are close, the Sixers pull out wins more often than any other team. They also have the second best net rating in the clutch, and this is definitely an encouraging sign for Sixers fans, although things will be different in the playoffs. The final thing I would like to point out is their defense. You would think a team with 2 Defensive Player of the Year candidates would be at the top of the defensive rankings, but they're not. They still rank 5th, which is very good, but not as good as you might think. It's not a massive deal, but considering defense is supposed to be this team's calling card, it might be something that crops up later in their season. All in all, I think the Sixers are definitely contenders this year. They aren't perfect, but their top guys are performing better than they ever have, and they finally have a supporting cast that fits with their stars. Would I be surprised if they won it all? No. But also, would I be surprised if they didn't make it out of the second round? No, I wouldn't be surprised either. Well, that's it for the video. If you are still watching, please politely tap that like button. I really appreciate you that you've watched the whole video. And this video did take me a lot of time and effort to make, so I would appreciate it if you did politely tap that like button. And yeah, if you're on around here, don't forget to subscribe. And yeah, until next time, it's been your boy, Zachary McAllister. Have a good day.